I think we're just curious about this topic. Like it just is so interesting that there's so many unexplained things.
It's like a train wreck. You can't look away. Welcome to Counter to Intelligence. I am Ken, and with me is
Tom, the ultimate skeptic. I'm not even sure if I'm here.
Yep, no one is. You know what? You're so skeptical that you don't know if you're here, and sometimes your wife questions if you're there.
She does.
So, wow, that
She's
I don't know.
Did you hear what I said? Were you paying attention? Right.
She goes, I am skeptical that you're paying attention.
Yeah.
And you're like, I am the ultimate skeptic. So
that's true. I can justify that. She
and
says
then you're like, I'm
skills,
skeptical if I was listening to you as well.
Right.
But yeah. So this week we're going to dive into the crop circle phenomenon and the ideas behind it. So I've done a lot of research, and I've found some interesting connections to some things that are very old. But first, I think I was like, the definition and what a crop circle is. Like, it's basically, yeah. And what is it? What is a crop circle? Well, if you can't figure out what it is, it's a circle and a crop. That's the easiest. But it's basically patterns created by flattening crops and forming geometric or artistic designs. They're commonly attributed to hoaxes with fringe theories suggesting natural or extraterrestrial causes.
Wow.
And they often appear overnight near cultural landmarks, roads, or densely populated areas. And so even if these are hoaxes, whoever is hoaxing them does an amazing job because no one knows who's doing them.
That's true. Yeah.
And they've never caught anyone as far as I could find.
Yes.
Now, everyone knows crops. I think everyone in the world has heard of crop circles. And they had a big phase or jump in the 70s and 80s. That's when they were like real big. People were, and to the point that like in the early 2000s, even, M. Night Shyamalan made the movie Signs. And that had
that's
crop
his actual
circles.
pronunciation. That was the best pronunciation of his name I've ever heard.
Yeah, I can never say it right, so I don't even try. But what are your thoughts on the crop circle phenomenon? What do you think?
I mean, I too am mystified by the fact they've never really caught anyone that I'm aware of, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one has ever really been caught. And there have been, I think, admitted hoaxes too in the past. So some people said they did it. But it is wild to me that there's so many of them all over the world. Is this like a social thing where people copycat thing? I'm curious.
Well, it is. It's cool too because a lot of them, like I said, they're very intricate designs.
Yes.
And on a Monday, there's nothing there. Tuesday morning, they come and an acre of crop has been turned into a crop circle, and most of the time, they're not broken. Like the stalks and stuff aren't broken. They're bent.
Right.
Like,
they're bent.
And you would think if someone was stepping on them and making this, they'd at least break, but they're not. They're just bent over. And these things are intricate designs, and you don't see how the person got in or out.
Yes.
And it's there. And I know some people were like, think, oh, the farmers are doing it. But then it doesn't help the farmer at all. They get nothing for it, nothing out of it. Like there's no money to be made in destroying your crop.
Right. They're losing, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're losing money. And I was like, that's it. I mean, it's crazy. And like I said, we often think of it as a 1970s and 80s, but they're still happening today.
That's interesting because I haven't.
Well, I think what happened, like, because of COVID, and then you had like the government saying there are aliens, and you had all these other like announcements of crazy stuff that people are like, what? They kind of went on the back burner. But the last crop circle was in Wilts, I think it's Wilts, England, and it was in August 8th of 2024. That was the last report. And in 2024, there was 5 incidences in a 2-month period of crop circles happening. Yeah, and 5 incidents, 2 months, and some of them they were pretty close. They were July 14th, July 19th, July 23rd, July 28th, and August 8th.
Okay.
And then there hasn't been any since that have been reported.
Right. So no pattern to the dates, really. Like there's
there's no, it's
number
just
day.
randomly, you know, it doesn't seem like there's a, pattern to it, but it's just interesting that they do seem to happen a lot in England. And that's also where, Stonehenge is. And there's a lot of those weird round places.
Yeah. Weird round places. Do you think, I mean, crazy theory, Banksy, right? Do you think Banksy's doing the crop circles? Maybe Banksy's
I don't know.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is with Banksy, his things aren't all. I mean, it could be, but like he seems to be more like not really shadow mural type things.
Right. Yeah, he does.
And that seems to be his, and he kind of admits to him.
Right,
like he does.
That's true.
Yeah. Like he doesn't shy away from saying those are mine.
That's true.
And like, though, has anyone ever seen Banksy? Is that the other thing? Cause I don't.
Yeah, there is somebody that like brings his art to the places, I guess. So there's someone that knows Banksy.
Yeah, but he himself has never shown up.
Right. Exactly.
And how's he make money?
I want to know. I mean, he destroys his own art and it goes up in price. I kind of am wondering if I could get into that business.
Yeah.
Right. Like, could I destroy, I don't know, I could write something or whatever and just rip it up and then it'd be worth millions.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Now, as I did research for this, I found out that one of the first crop circle incidences happened in 1678.
That's a long time ago.
Long time ago. And it was reported in this thing called the Mowing Devil pamphlet. And it described the phenomenon in this pamphlet in 1678 of the crop circle. They didn't call them crop circles. Like that term didn't really come about until the 70s and 80s. But what the person was describing in this thing in 1678 was crop circles. He was talking about land. Then in 1880, a guy named John Rand Campron wrote about crop formations, and he believed they were caused by cyclones.
Right.
But again, it was mini cyclones. But again, it was these intricate designs, and he had drawings of them. It's like, that's weird that a cyclone would be that precise.
Right.
But that's right. And then in 1966, there was the Tully saucer nest in Queensland, Australia, and it was linked to a UFO sighting. And then you get into the 70s and 80s, and that's where you get a bunch of these things that come out, and it was all, UFO. Everyone's like, is UFOs or hoaxes?
I would love to chart that over time and see if there's a pattern. Like you said, I feel like that happened a lot in the 70s and 80s. We've heard about it so much more. Yeah,
it was. And somebody even said during when Star Wars came out in 1978, a week before they came out, there was a few crop circles that appeared. And so they're like, was it a publicity? But George Lucas has never said that he had anything to do with that. And Star Wars was filmed over in England as well as Tunisia and other places. But, like the main, where they did.
That's an interesting coincidence that, it was filmed in the same location.
Yeah. But again, like most scientific theories say that they are hoaxes. Like no scientist is really saying, but there's a really cool, I came up with this connection in the way before 1500s, 1300s. The people believed in these things called fairy circles, and they actually do happen. And I've actually seen one when I've gone hiking. I saw these mushrooms that had grown, and basically a fairy circle is basically it's just that, like plants that grow in a circle. And when I was in Vermont, we were hiking and we came across these mushrooms, and it was a perfect circle that they had grown in, and there's nothing in the middle, and it was a circle on the outside.
Oh, wow.
Or was a perfect circle. And according to the thing is, you don't step into the middle of it because it's a fairy circle.
Right.
And you'll tick off the fairies. So
And they're notorious, as we know, for causing
Yeah.
problems.
But they do say that that is a natural thing that does happen, and it was certain vegetation that happens. And so you have that, but circles are really interesting. Like you got the crop circles, you got the fairies, and then in Romania, I'm going to throw this other thing at you. There's a forest in Romania that is considered the most haunted forest in the world. It's even more haunted than the forest over near in Japan where the people hang themselves. I don't know if you know about that.
I don't.
We'll get into that sometime too.
That's another episode coming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. But this place in Romania, it has a circle in the middle of it where nothing grows, and so it's like. And the folklore story behind it is that's where when Satan was cast out of heaven, that's where he landed.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
Boom. And so now, and it's weird. Like if you actually go on Google Maps or whatever, and you go to this forest and you look in the middle of the forest, there is a circle and no trees grow there. Nothing does. It's just there. And there's been a couple like TV shows, Destination Truth, I think another show, Expedition X, all went to this place and they all had some very bizarre things happen when they stayed in the circle and were staying there overnight and just
they camped in the circle.
Yeah. Well, they actually camped outside of the circle, but they went into the circle at night and were doing like EVP stuff, like who's here, right? And whatever was there did not appreciate them being there, and like it was pretty like this episode. It was pretty like intense where one of the camera guys walked out pretty beat up and cut up, and you're just like, and when you see it, it's like, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, I was trying to figure out how they could have done it. And the only way they could have done this shot is they had to have a huge crane pull this guy. And he was literally standing there and he got yanked backwards about 10 feet and he got cut up. And he was like miserable, and he would not go back in. And they've interviewed him a couple times, and he still will never go back there. To the point he's like, I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened. I'm not going back into that place ever again. So I believe something weird happened there. But
the circles are like the theme here. Like there's a lot of circles.
So there are theories, like I said, UFOs, hoaxes. Another interesting one again is demonic. You got to go down that hole. Like, is it a demonic entity doing it, and why?
Right.
Like,
what I mean is that, what sense would that even make from that perspective? Like, how does drawing on crops accomplish a goal of evil?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, again, you get into like, if you look into sorcery and stuff, doing salt circles, doing circles, we're supposed to either conjure or get rid of evil, depending on what you're doing. So they did both. Stopped evil, but also brought evil. So,
but not triangles or rectangles. It's the circle.
No, circles. No. Well, if you put a triangle inside the circle, then that, watch out.
Yeah, that's a different level.
Geometric demonic forces.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
that's where algebra came from. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like dodecahedron, like rhombus. Like there's some other stuff they should.
Yeah, well, I think that's how we got algebra and calculus was demonic forces. And
I mean, if you ask your average middle school student, they might agree, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember back in the day, I thought it was evil. I thought it was evil, and I thought my teacher was evil.
So it all connects.
This
is created to torture middle school students. That's
and then I went and married a teacher, so that's weird.
Oh, that is weird. You got some connections there. Don't avoid all the circles you can. Is my advice.
Yeah, exactly. And then we wear wedding rings, and they're circles.
Oh my gosh, this is spooky, man.
Circle.
Oh my god! And then there's that movie, The Ring, right? Which is like a horror movie, which I've never seen, but I imagine you might have just done something there by showing us the circle in the video. So
yeah, it could have been maybe. Don't close your eyes and turn around, because I could end up coming through the screen.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think I mean I
Is
don't
that what he
remember
does?
how it
I thought
works.
that was a Freddy Krueger thing. Like, don't fall
No, no,
off
what in the ring it was the creature came through the TV,
the
but
TV.
that also was in Poltergeist. That's just lazy writing. They stole other
They
people's
should, yeah.
ideas.
They got to be more original with that
Yeah.
stuff.
So I mean, I just want what are what are
Well,
your
my
thoughts?
theories, yeah, I
What
really
would
don't
you?
know.
Well,
I look for a practical explanation. Like, clearly some are hoaxes,
yeah,
but there is a video I sent you. I was trying to look for,
yeah,
to try to make the case the other way too. There's a weird video that showed lights. I mean, I don't know if it's a doctored video or what,
yeah,
but showed lights, and then you could see the crop circles like forming. So there's at least one video I've seen where they
yeah,
claim it's real. I mean, that was very odd looking for sure. I
yeah.
don't know how
And
you would do
that
that.
was an older video too, I
Yeah,
believe, because they so where and when you look at it, and I'm sure people will be, oh, that was staged or faked or
time
special
lapse or
effects,
something. Yeah,
but like I remember when because I've seen that one before, and I remember seeing it and being like, now I'm like, well, yeah, we could do that
yeah,
easily, but when that was made, it wouldn't have been as easy to pull off
yes,
without being very expensive to do and a lot of render time. Like, because
exactly.
back when that was made, that like, because I mean, I've been doing video and film stuff since '96, and that came out before that. I think it was earlier '90s that video came
Yep,
from, and
yep.
I'm like, that's like a if it's fake, it's really good Hollywood special effects.
Oh, well done,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, well
yeah,
done.
and
Because
then
now everybody that's got Blender for free, right, can go and
yeah,
try to do special effects and download After Effects and all, all the software's there. But like you're saying, back then, who had that? Just
yeah,
not
and it was expensive. I mean, it was like I remember when I first started in doing what I do, like an Avid was, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, and that
Yep,
was like at the time Avid was the big one you would go with, and then you'd have Maya and all these other effects
right.
things, and they're all tens of thousands of dollars. Like so,
Yeah,
to spend that much money to make a crop circle video
right.
would have
For
been,
15 seconds or whatever.
yeah, yeah, would have been ridiculous,
Yeah.
and for what? Because you made no money off it. Now
That's
it's
they're
like,
going broke making this thing for
yeah,
sure.
it's like, all right, we're gonna invest in Maya and Linksys, and we're gonna get an
Yeah,
Avid because at the time it wouldn't have been Adobe or Final Cut
right,
or anything. Now you got CapCut, and it's like on your
right.
phone, and you can do your little videos. But
I wonder if it's like this. The only thought I had about that one was like stop motion. If they were just really good at stop motion,
oh
right?
yeah, that's
Run
true.
out there
Yeah,
and do it, and then they
tune,
run
tune,
off,
tune.
and then they added the little light or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it is weird. I mean, I fully admit some of the stuff does look weird, right? Even though I
yeah.
feel like there's got to be a practical explanation. It's so weird.
And my thing is also is like if it is all hoaxed, they do it at night.
Yes,
Like they can't. There's no way on earth they would be able to use flashlights because people would
right.
see that
You
out
could
there.
see it.
And then my thought is always they're like when you look at them, they're intricate and very
Yes,
geometrically designed that you would have to practice your
you have to
steps
practice. Use
and
GPS or something because you're not going to fly a drone to,
yeah, like so
how would
like
you
you
see it?
yeah you because you'd have to know exactly where to turn, exactly like how many steps to take and all of that.
Yeah,
And the thing is like, okay, now like you mentioned GPS, yeah, now we have that, but they were doing it in the 70s and 80s. They didn't have
right.
that.
You didn't
So
have
how were
GPS.
they? And they were doing these, like I said, huge things. So it'd have to be more than one person,
Yes.
like to
To be a
get it
team.
done in a night. And yet never had anyone come forward like a group say, hey, we're the crop circle guys, and it's like no one's come and like I said, I have seen, like you said, I've seen TV shows where they showed guys trying to do it, like, hoax
Right.
it and showing how it could be done. But then they even showed like the thing, they had these big wood boards that they stepped on to flatten it,
I think I
but
saw one of those ones. Yeah.
they were breaking it
Right.
all of them, like, and then when you saw an actual real crop circle, they were like
It's
this,
bent. Yeah.
they're bent, and then when they did it, it was like this. It was
Yes.
like snapped. And
Yeah.
so it was like it still wasn't doing exactly what. It was still
Right.
cool, and you're like, oh, that's
It looked
neat.
cool,
But
yeah,
when they reenacted it and showed how it could be done, they were doing it during the day,
right. That's true.
so
Yeah,
they could see everything they were doing. And I was
yeah.
like, well, they should have done it at night and see how accurate their little crop circle would have
I
been.
would love to see that because that is the mystery to me. It's like you're not using flashlights as far as we know. How are you being that accurate? I mean, do
Yeah,
you have a compass and you're dragging twine to the certain
yeah.
distance or something? Yeah, I don't know.
And my thing is like, if you are faking it and you're doing a hoax, I mean, that's cool and all if you're doing it, but then why would you not ever admit that you did it? Like,
I think I'd want to brag, right? Oh, by the
yeah, yeah,
way, those 10,000
the,
circles, or I don't know how many there were. Do you know how many
yeah.
there were? There's been a lot,
Yeah,
right?
there's been thousands of them,
Yeah.
and the thing is, it's not just England. I mean, that's where a lot of them are, but they do have them in Australia and India. Russia's had some, America's had some, and they're all over the place. So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you explain who's doing it? And like, is it a well? And at this point, if it was like an online group, like someone would have found that group by now.
I
And
would
like,
think they would,
yeah,
right?
it's
I
like,
mean, Banksy's cousins can't hide, like I'm
yeah,
sure they would find, yeah, these people.
yeah, you'd have to know
Yeah, I
something.
always feel like somebody has to know somewhere, right? Like these things
Yeah.
can't just happen unconnected to anything.
And,
But
and then
wow,
what?
I've never visited one. Have you visited one? I'm kind of curious.
No, I've never been to one yet. I'd like to go. Like, there's a couple, and I am interested. Like, if it is extraterrestrial or something, what's the point of it as well?
Right.
And it made me kind of think of is it the Nazca lines in Peru?
Oh, what's that? Tell me about that.
You don't. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
where
I'm
this
so
is a
far behind.
whole nother thing. You have to. I think it's called the Nazca lines in Peru, and it's these designs of these rocks formate like people. But if you're on the ground looking around, it just looks like rocks on the
Okay.
ground. Now, once you get way up in the air, about 100, 200 feet up in the air or more, you suddenly look down and it's these amazing pictures. And it's like like murals of
Murals.
like that were done thousands of years ago, like by native people.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like you see like a person, I think there's a scorpion, I think there's and different things pointing in different directions, and to the point that people are wondering what, like, when you look at how they go, it's kind of leading you in a direction. But the
Right.
thing is, if you're on the ground, you can't see what it's doing. You had to be way up in the air to
Right.
even know what it was. And people, speculate, why were these built?
It's great. It's like Stonehenge, right? They laid it out by the stars, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but you don't know why it's, and that's in like Stonehenge is that way. The pyramids are
Yeah.
very similar, where they are
Yeah.
laid out perfectly to the astrological signs. I guess is it the Pleiades, or is it something like that? Like, could be wrong.
Some
Or the
star,
North
it
Star.
points to North Star points
Yeah,
to.
North Star. Yeah,
Yeah.
points to the North Star. And the Egyptian ones did that, as well as the Mayan pyramids do the exact same thing. They're all pointing to the same thing. So is there a connection there between all of that and these crop circles and the Nazca lines? Is it leading aliens to where they should go?
Because
they
maybe
build?
they're lost with all their high tech. They need
Yeah.
low tech crop circles for a guidance system, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, I don't know what they do. Maybe they spent all the money on the engines and getting here. They forgot to put a GPS.
Their income to debt ratio is probably driving the crop circles. Let's be honest.
Right. Well, I mean, and it all leads to some guys, trailer park where they can abduct them.
That's true.
And-
The trailer park guys, I'm betting we'll find disproportionate abductions among that population.
No, yeah. Well, the reason is, if let's say you got abducted,
Right.
you seem like a reasonable person. You're also the skeptic. So if you suddenly came out and said, "Hey, I was taken up in this alien craft and they made me very uncomfortable, and
They didn't even offer coffee.
yeah,
tea,
yeah,
nothing.
no dinner, nothing, and they just
Right.
started touching me, and it was inappropriate and it was wrong, and I didn't like it." So that happened to you. People were like, oh, whoa, Tom, from Counter to Intelligence, the skeptic is talking about
Right.
this is believable.
That's true.
Now, if Bobby Joe sitting in it with his 6-pack in front of his trailer, we look down on people in trailer parks. We shouldn't, but we have this stereotype
It's a
about it.
stereotype.
So then you're like, oh, Bobby Joe said he got abducted by an alien and he's going to have its baby. It's like, whatever. Bobby Joe drinks like, 10 6-packs a night. He's crazy, and that's just a beer belly.
That's right.
And then the alien comes back and he's like, no, they took the baby from me.
Right. And he hasn't been drinking for 2 months, but exactly.
Yeah. The baby's gone. And, so he's like, they stole my child. And so anyway, so I don't know why I went down that path, but you don't see crop circles near trailer parks.
So that's the trend. You don't. It's basically an England, largely England phenomenon, but all across the world, right?
Yeah, all across the world, yeah.
Yeah.
And the latest ones last year, they are all in England. All the ones that I could find happened in England.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe England's just sad that they're just not getting the attention that they want.
Right. I mean, nobody's offered to buy England, right? Greenland's getting attention lately. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
nobody wants to buy England. It's horrible. It's rainy and cold.
Right.
Sucks over there. Like I've never been, but I'm gonna say it sucks there. It's not Ireland.
It's not Ireland. It's not green
Yeah. Ireland's cool. Ireland, Scotland, they're cool. England, even though they're all in the same area. Yeah.
Right. They're totally different.
Yeah. They drink
what
tea
about
all
ice
the time.
circles? Are there ice circles? Is just crops? Like, are there any other things that make these patterns?
Well, you sent me a picture of a snow circle, which I'm skeptical that you did not do that. I'm skeptical that happened. I think you or your son went out and made it.
I mean, it could have made by the sled that was also in the same picture I sent you. It was actually, to be technical, it was a saucer, obviously.
Oh, see, a saucer made the snow circle.
Made a snow circle. Could be what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
But I sent you a second picture. We should put this up in the clip when you edit this in. That shows that the snow circle did not
snow melted. Yeah, it didn't melt.
Melted around it, but not in the circle, right? So,
yeah, that was interesting. I'll put that up. I'll show how the before and then the snow melt. Now we got another snowstorm going on, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Send me another picture of it now in the middle of the snowstorm to see what's going on.
Yeah, who knows what's going on there? Maybe what if the snow is not adhering to that spot? Maybe
that would be interesting.
We said the circles have power, even if a regular old person creates them.
And if I were you, I would not go in the middle of it.
I did accidentally step in it, so I don't know what's going to happen later.
Well, I guess this might be our last episode.
Yeah, it's going to end this run pretty fast.
Yeah, like the Tom circle, like the Toms will come after you in anger.
True. They could be, ruining the name of Tom. It's going to be
right. Yeah, I mean, See, I just don't like that you make these pictures and mock our dear conspiracies with your tomfoolery.
Oh wow, that was a great dad joke. I mean, my kids are gonna wince when they hear this episode. I mean, their listener number. I think they're the third or fourth listener, right, on our large group now. So I haven't looked to see what our numbers are. I know we are growing, though.
Yeah, we are growing. We've grown. I haven't looked at most recently, but I think we're still going. We're still going up. We haven't gone in the negative. So people haven't taken back their watching and listening. Like, I don't know if that's possible. Like, I didn't want to listen.
Right. Stop recommending this to me.
Yeah. Give me back that hour.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like we're doing well for just, what is we 3 weeks in, and we're not in the negative. Don't you get a big award on YouTube once you hit a certain number of subscribers or views?
Yeah. It's called 1 million.
1 million. We have to get 1 million. That's the lowest award is 1 million.
I believe it is. Yeah. But once you hit 1 million subscribers, you end up making some, at least $2-3. So it's like,
that's way more than we've got.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you actually, if you had 1 million subscribers, you actually make some money You can we now see we should convince people to like and subscribe.
We should.
I finally said it. I don't think I said that yet. Like and subscribe to our channel as well as listening to it on Spotify and wherever else.
Yes.
And then share it and tell us what conspiracies they are interested in. Because there are a lot out there, and like like what I'm doing, I'm telling you what we're going to talk about. And well, this week you decide you want to do crop circles. What do you want to talk about next week? What is the thing you want to dive into?
What is the most? See, you're more of an expert in this area. What is the weirdest, like, conspiracy or lore? Like, you have the whole museum behind you there.
Yeah, I would like to dive into, and it's an older one, but the Kennedy assassination.
Well, that's a great one. Let's do that one.
Because there's actually some new footage that came out in the recent years that adds a whole different plot, and there's all kinds of stuff with the game. I would love to go into all the different aspects, because I mean, who did it, and who's behind it all, and then that would be a fun one. I think next week we dive into Kennedy.
Love it.
I think we've given all the information on crop circles, so people have to decide for themselves. I am unclear what is doing them and why. Like I said, I can't figure out why someone would hoax it and then not take any credit ever
for decades.
Decades. And if it's aliens, I don't like you said, why are they doing it? Because they have technology to get all the way here, supposedly. Why do they need to mark crops? Do they not have good GPS once they get here? It's like, is that the Allen? Was it the Van Allen belt?
Van Allen belt, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that messes up their GPS signal when they get into it.
Imagine if we were reversed and we traveled all the way to some distant land. I mean, what would our first thing be? We're like, I want to find paper and write on crayons, make random things, or I don't know, sidewalk chalk. Maybe we do sidewalk chalk. Yeah,
sidewalk chalk circles.
Oh, that is definitely gonna be a future episode.
That is what I would do to the aliens. And you know what? I wouldn't do, I'm not mean like they are. I wouldn't kidnap their people and do weird experiments on them. And I wouldn't slaughter their livestock.
That's true.
That's going to be another episode down the road too, when we delve into the cow mutilations.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole different
sidewalk chalk. That's where it's at for
sidewalk chalk circles.
Yeah. That's the future.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is the future. I think we've done well in this. We've given information. People can decide for themselves.
Yeah. Keep an open mind. Just think about it. And then, we're going to do JFK. And so you'll have to send me some stuff and I'll try to look up some stuff. We'll figure it out. And there's a lot of theories, right? Warren Commission and all that.
All kinds of stuff. So if you're watching us or listening to us, next week we're going to dive into JFK. And like I said, if you have something that you would like us to dive into and get our thoughts on and find out what Tom thinks about it and why he doesn't believe anything and why he's no fun at parties. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually fun at parties. You're fun at parties.
I'm a lot of fun at parties. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you for checking us out. And again, tell your mom and your Aunt Stella to like and subscribe to us.
Yeah, Stella has not subscribed. She needs to.
Yeah, because they're lonely and they have no friends. They're probably in a nursing home. Get the whole nursing home to listen to our podcast.
That could be the core demographic that we need to aim for. I like this.
Yeah.
We're going to get one of those YouTube awards when we get to 100 subscribers. Is that number, or maybe
if we get to 100 subscribers by the end of this month, I will bake a cake and you and I will eat it in an episode.
We could eat it on air. We could split it
on air and split it, and we'll eat it.
Now, what's required to access the museum location? Like, I could be on location in the museum too. We could. We could do one where we're in the same room together. Yeah, eating cake.
Yeah,
I think people would want to watch that.
Like Marie Antoinette, we will eat cake.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't get beheaded for it.
It'd be a bad ending. Again, we got to keep this going. We almost ended it today, right? Because we didn't believe that I existed, but we moved past that and we're ready for.
Well, we'll find out because you stepped in the circle. So I don't know. I'm waiting to hear. I don't know how long ago you did that. So
all right, it was it's about 2 hours ago. before the
Oh,
snow. So
well, that's
hopefully.
great. So I'll be waiting to hear from your wife. Tom's gone. He disappeared. I found like his shoes and that's it. I'm like, yeah, the Tommy knockers came and took him away. See, there's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, thank you all for stopping by, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
See
Good
ya.
luck. See you.